Let's hope I didn't mess up my camera angle.
I hope that every episode for myself, but
Yeah, I feel that. I usually mess it up, too. That's the bad part.
it's hard, man. It's hard not being in like a studio because like we're navigating around our rooms. Like I literally now with my new setup, I mean, I like it because I can keep it right here, but I have to like climb over my bed to like get from one side to the other because like I have everything right here, and then it's the bed. So it's like, just the fun stuff of running a podcast out of your bedroom.
Yeah, they didn't need to know that, but they should know that by now.
I think they know that.
They definitely know that by
Well,
now.
maybe if they're a new listener, maybe not.
Well, if they're a new listener, who are you?
Who am I? Well,
Yeah.
if I think back to 1905, I'm kidding. My name's Tyler.
I knew you were that old. My name is Gabriel.
And this is the Catchin Up Podcast. Welcome back to Season 3. This is Episode 2 of the season. So we hope you tuned into Episode 1, not Season 1, Episode 1 and Season 1. And if you haven't, well, this is a brand new, fresh episode. So, it's not like a TV show. You don't have to follow chronologically. We come and chop it up, new stuff every week. So welcome.
Exactly. We're like your sitcom.
Yeah.
That gets serious halfway through the episode, and then we're fine.
Yeah, I guess that is true. Sitcoms really, maybe sometimes, but they rarely follow like a structured narrative.
Storyline.
You might have like a boyfriend come
big
in.
plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why they're so easy to digest and like why they're so watchable. Also because they're comedy and great acting. But it's also the factor of like you don't have to keep up with it. You can watch an episode now, and then 2 months down the line, you can watch another episode, and you like won't have oh man, like forgot about that or I missed that. Like you're just like, oh okay, I'm just picking up this fun show.
Yeah. And that being said, let's play that intro because it's brand spanking new.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start. Introducing Catchin Up
I customized
Podcast.
mine because I'm bougie.
It's not a 9, but it's not an 8.5 either. Like,
Why are you this picky?
you have to be the one to open the door. You have to be the one to open your heart.
It's not about you. It's about touching other people's lives.
Catching Up Podcast. If you're not caught up, you're catching up.
I don't necessarily know what that means. Okay, so to start off this podcast, this is actually for those of you that are unaware, for those of you that are unaware, we usually shoot this Wednesday morning, but we had some scheduling conflicts, and so we're doing this on a Tuesday night. So usually we'll do a coffee review on because it's the morning and we like coffee, and that's our logo. So we kind of have to. But for this week, since it's nighttime, obviously we don't want to have to do that and keep ourselves up super late because we're old now. We can't drink caffeine past 7 p.m. or it's wraps,
No, for real.
So we're going to be doing Chick-fil-A's Key Lime Lemonade.
Yeah.
So funny enough, I saw an Instagram post recently, like a week ago, and it was like Chick-fil-A's coming out with this, I think it's like pineapple dragon fruit lemonade. And I was like, oh, like that sounds really good. And so I think I'd sent Gabe a post about it, and he was like, oh yeah, it looks really good. And then tonight I was like, we were talking about the episode, and I was like, oh, are we doing coffee? Oh wait, we're shooting at night. We can't do coffee. And we were like, thinking about what we should do. And then he was like, oh, we could do that new Chick-fil-A lemonade. And he didn't like specify the flavor. So I just thought he meant the pineapple dragon fruit one. And so he was like, yeah, they're serving it now, whatever. Again, not that specific lemonade, we just said that new lemonade. And so I pull up to Chick-fil-A and I'm like, hey, can I get one of those new pineapple dragon fruit lemonades? He's like, we don't have that. And I'm like, oh, what do you guys have then other than the regular lemonade? He's like, we got the key lime. And so in my mind, I was like, okay, I'll get that. And then, we can, if Gabe gets the other one, we can both review the different lemonades. But then when I texted him, I was like, yo, they only had the key lime. Like, if you want to still get the other one, go ahead. And he's like, that's the one I was talking about. So all that to say, communication is key in a relationship. But it worked out in the end.
Yep. And while Tyler was talking, I did pour, because I ordered it to go. So I ordered separate. So I'm just going to show you me pouring it slow-mo right now.
Bro, I can't believe they still have the styrofoam cups over there. We get paper ones over here.
I've never seen Chick-fil-A with a paper cup.
Really? I guess that must be a state thing then. You know, we're more environmentally conscious in California.
All I do know is that they forgot to give me a straw, so I'm using my own, and that's okay.
Okay. That actually
They're
looks
still really nice.
Yeah, it looks. It's got a little bend in it. I like that.
Look, yeah, it's pretty sick. All right.
All right.
So this is our review of the Chick-fil-A Key Lime Lemonade.
You know, a drink just sounds so good when you get the ice in there.
All right, ready?
Okay, before we say anything, I just have to remind, we're from Florida. He currently lives in Florida. I'm from Florida. Isn't like the key lime pie? Isn't that key limes from like the Keys or something like that? Or am I totally?
I think so.
off
It's
base?
like
I felt like
no, I'm pretty sure you're right.
yeah, it's like a Florida thing. I think. If I'm wrong, that's gonna be weird.
I feel like we're both like I think okay. Are you on the same page where it's like it's good? Mm-hmm. Not as key limey as I expected.
Well,
I kind of feel like it's still really good, but I feel like they did a batch of the lemonade and then they squeezed one lime in it.
yeah. Okay, so the lime is very subtle. You can tell it's there for sure. It's not like I'm drinking lemonade and I'm like, oh, there's kind of some lime. No, you can taste the lime. I personally, so going back to the Florida thing, I was never like a big key lime pie like eater. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I haven't really had much of it. So I don't know what the difference in lime taste is supposed to be. Cause like this, it tastes different than just a regular lime. And I don't know how to explain it, but it tastes different than if they just squeeze a regular lime in there.
Well, key lime is a specific type of lime.
Right.
So.
I think it has a little bit different of a flavor to it. I mean,
what do you rate it?
Like, I like it a lot. The more I'm drinking it, I'm like, wow, this is refreshing. You know, sometimes with the regular lemonade, like I'll drink it, it's really good, but it kind of makes me more thirsty. This, like, that extra add of citrus of that lime, it's kind of like quenching that. It's like, you know, the sourness from the lime is kind of changing the dynamic a little bit for me, and I like it. I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of weird, but I like it.
Yeah, you like it? You like that? Okay.
I'm gonna go with.
So what's your rating?
I'm gonna go with a solid 8 out of 10. It's good. I don't think it's hard. I don't think it's better than the original lemonade because their original lemonade, it's just off the charts for me at least. But this is really good. Like I really like this. Like I would definitely get it again, and like if they added it, I could see it being something where like it gets pretty popular. It's good. I like it. Yeah, 8 out of 10. I think that's right where I'm at. Because usually I'd probably rate their lemonade a 10 out of 10, in my opinion. So this little bit down, not by much, a little bit down, but it's very good. And this is also my first time, so it might grow on me.
So I'm gonna rate this as a 7.5, only because
I was thinking that.
Don't copy me. I'm just kidding. Only because everything Tyler said is correct. It's refreshing. It is really delicious. Like I would drink this pretty much on a consistent basis. But I am disappointed in how subtle the lime is. For being called a key lime lemonade, I expected it to be a lot more key limey.
Okay.
So that's the only reason I'm not giving it an 8, because it is really good. It is really refreshing. And now I'm really curious because the more I drink it, I almost feel like it's very similar to the lemonade.
Yeah.
So I want to compare them side by side, like blindly, to see if I can actually tell the difference or if I'm making up the lime flavor because I'm looking for it.
No, I definitely think the lime flavor's there. Now, I mean, do you think, because my thing is like, I could stand a little bit more lime, but I think if you go like, let's just say, for example, that's one lime. If they went, not in the whole batch, but I'm just saying, for me, it tastes like they just squeezed like half a lime in there, right? So my thing is like, man, I don't know. If they squeeze a whole lime in there, it might be a little bit too much lime. But I don't know.
or maybe they could just use one less lemon
I mean, fair.
and still keep the half lime.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't make it. I don't even know how much they actually use. But that's my review. Sorry guys, hate it or not, it's good.
Yeah,
Just
let
a
us know if you
7.5.
guys have tried it. I guess when that new pineapple dragon fruit one comes out, we'll have to try it because, I spoke upon
I made
it.
Tyler look like an idiot.
And actually, I'm pleasantly surprised though because I like that. So like, I don't know if I would have ever tried that because I didn't know they had it. I mean, I'm sure it would have been advertised somewhere, but like, to be honest with you, it doesn't really sound that appealing off of the like just lime lemonade. I don't know. It just doesn't really appeal to me for whatever reason. But
The only reason I said it was because it was convenient. It was the only thing in between my house and the gym. So I was like, that's the only reason I said that. It didn't sound appealing enough for me to try it. So yeah, I get
Right.
it. I also have a surprise, and I know Tyler's going to be upset because his Chick-fil-A didn't do
We're
it.
getting married?
But me and my wife went in line, and we got the lemonade, and the guy was like, do you guys want ice cream or a cookie? And we were like, sure. So and then he's like, which one? And we're like, ice cream for both. So I got free ice cream today.
okay, that's dope.
So that's why I was like, they forgot my straw, but they gave me free ice cream. So
I mean, listen, I can't be
It
too
cancels
upset
out.
because I've recently been gifted 2 free sandwiches on the app. So I got a free sandwich, but I already ate it.
hey, God is good all the time. You know what I'm saying? I ate before the gym, so I didn't need a sandwich, but I did need dessert.
Yo, low key, I feel like if you took a little bit of that ice cream and like put it in the drink, it would kind of be fire.
Let's try it right now.
We're going to try it here live. Bro, you know what my girl did? So I don't think this is anything like, in a sense, like new, because like obviously cream, like dirty sodas, when they add like cream to sodas have been around. But she did that with an Olipop, and it was fire, bro. It was so good. And I was like, man, this is cool because like, you're getting some sugars and some fat from the cream, but like the Olipop, you don't have the extra 50 grams of sugar that you would in a Coke or a Dr. Pepper or something. So if you're a fan of Olipop, use my girlfriend's method and try it with some I think it's like heavy cream, or I think that's what they use, and it's really good.
All right, let's try it. Dude, it almost tastes more key limey. I'm not even
That
kidding.
kind of makes sense because now you're almost maybe getting like that pie cream flavoring almost. Man, now
Dang, I
I'm
almost want to add a
jealous.
little more ice cream.
No.
Nah, yeah. Guess we got to review it next week too.
Okay, next week, dirty key lime.
That probably
lemonades.
means the key lime lemon shake or whatever is really good.
Oh, they do
'Cause
like the frosted
ju-
version.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, they do that with the they do a strawberry lemonade version like that, and it's really good. It's I forgot they even did that because I think it's not like on their menu. It's their secret menu, but it's very good. Okay, enough of the food talk. We've been talking about food for like 25, 30 minutes now, bro. I'm kidding.
Actually, 13.
He's like, it's been 2.5 minutes. So hold on, let me go. Okay, so this week we're going to be delving into something that I've been struggling with, and so I brought it up to Gabe, and I was like, hey man, if you have been struggling with anything or throughout your journey with Christianity, like if you've had struggles and stumbling blocks, like, kind of gave him that prompt to think about, because for me, I don't know the exact time I've been since I gave my life to Jesus and became a Christian. I think it's been like a little over a year. So for me, starting off, it was praying, and then praying led to going to church, and then going to church led to me like starting to read the Bible, and then reading the Bible led to me, taking notes and journaling and reflecting, and then it kind of led to me, finding different Christian podcasts and different Christian influencers, and then it led to, watching people do debates and apologetics and all these different things. And I think that it's really cool. First off, I want to like make it known that I think it's really cool that there is such a broad community of, whether it be Christians or Catholics or Orthodox, like there's a huge online presence of pastors and, people just wanting to speak about the faith, and their journeys and their experiences and sharing the Bible with others. And I think that's such an amazing thing, because that's something I hadn't seen for so long. And maybe it's just because I wasn't looking for it for the longest time. I'm sure this has been around for a little bit now. But I think it's really cool to just see there's a growth, especially from, when I first started watching it to now. There's a growth of so many different aspects. And so recently for me, a really big thing that I've been consuming is debates, and again, going back to the apologetics, and debates between denominations and debates between scripture, and delving into scripture and what it means and the theology behind it and where it comes from and how do we know it's real and how this and that. And not because I'm like questioning Christianity or anything. I just think it's a good thing to do your due diligence, whether you're new to the faith or not. I think it's something that like you should look into and be able to have knowledge of, because you're probably going to be asked these things in your journey of being a Christian, especially if you are looking to talk to people and evangelize and spread the word. People are going to be like, oh, well, why do you believe the Bible? Oh, well, who wrote the Bible? And all these different things, right? So for me, I've just been very curious about it and looking into it. And so anyways, I think that recently I've been letting consuming that type of content overcome my walk with Jesus. And I think it just... it is, I've really been reflecting on and thinking about it because I watch a lot of it. Like I really do, especially like, on drives and in the car or on break. Like that's typically what I'm consuming. And even at night, sometimes when I get home from the gym or work or wherever, and it's taken me out of the reading time with my word a lot, which I really don't like. And am like disappointed in, because it's like, that's where everything stems from. Is the Bible, is the word. We wouldn't have any of this, any Christian beliefs or, thoughts or opinions if it didn't come from the Bible, right? That's the main source. And, a good Bible verse that reflects upon this is Psalm 119, 105, which is, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. And again, while I want to say that I think watching these type of, taking in this type of information, such as debates and denominational, looking into the denominations and, looking into apologetics and looking into the history and looking into the writers, I think that's an amazing thing. And I think that's, again, something we should all do as Christians, right? We should all do our due diligence. We should all be prepared to be able to have answers for people. We should all be knowledgeable in the history of Christianity. But I think that it's not okay when it's taking over. What are the two main things that I think should be present in our lives as Christians? It's just prayer and reading the word. Because that's what you are mainly building your relationship with God through. Yes, it's going to church. Again, yes, it's learning and doing active research, but if like prayer and reading your Bible are the two most important things, because that is the word that he left for us. It's all God breathed, right? And prayer is the way that we directly communicate with him, with Jesus. And so that's like when it's taking so much time out of that, I feel like we might make an excuse for ourselves because like, oh, well, I'm watching this content and I'm consuming Christian content. It's better than what I was consuming before. And yes, that is correct. But it shouldn't be overtaking that aspect of your life. And again, this is me saying like it is currently overtaking a lot of the portion of my life. I'm still very good about prayer, but like more so reading the word, especially now that like I'm in the Old Testament and things, get a little bit more complex and get a little bit more genealogy and the building of the tabernacle. It can be a little bit of a slower read, at least for me, right? Whereas
sometimes it's just boring. You can say
right,
it's okay.
and even like going back to like where I started with the New Testament, like the New Testament is just chapter after chapter after chapter, book after book. It's like, wow, like you're just getting hit in all directions with so many amazing things, so much amazing words in there. And so I think it's like a good thing for all of us in this social media age to really take time and reflect like, hey, how much time am I spending here in this content creator world? And how much time am I spending actually in the Word, right? Because if it's up here, if you're watching this content, the debates, the apologetics, and that's all up here, and your Bible readings down here, like you really have to shift that. You have to shift that, and again, that I have to be the one to shift that, right? Because for me, like I said, it's been overtaking so much of my time and taking me out of the Word, which I think is not a good thing, and. So that was just a point of reflection for me where it's like, man, I really need to get back into the Word. And again, the quote that I quote about the Psalms, the Word is the lamp to our feet, right? And it lights your path. The Word is the ultimate guide in your walk with Christ. And that's the way that God speaks to you. That's the way that He communicates with you, again, along with prayer. But it's not through these debate videos. It's not through these podcasts and different people. Yes, again, it's amazing to hear other people's experiences and their points of view. And I think it is something you should get into. It's not the point of this message. The point of this message is don't let that overtake your time alone with God, reading His Word and talking to Him through prayer. And it was just a big reminder for me and for me to like refocus that. So yeah, now I want to open the floor to Gabe and see, like, it obviously it doesn't have to be in the same vein as that, but like maybe something that you've struggled with in the faith or a time period that you've went through in the faith. And like, maybe it was you slacked on reading your Bible, you slacked on praying, you slacked on going to church. Like, do you have anything that relates to overcoming a struggle in your faith?
I mean, the thing is that it's different. Growing up in church and growing up as a Christian, it's like I feel like you kind of go through all the struggles at some point, if not repetitively, if you don't fix them. And that being said, like I've struggled with prayer, like lack of or only, for me personally, one big struggle that I had was kind of just falling in the trap of, and I think I spoke about this before, I believe, but just falling in the trap of repetition and checklist, because I feel like I was it all honestly really stems to like not reading the Bible too. I feel like because one, I hate reading. Like if you know me, I can't even read text messages nor type. Like reading in me is just not it at all. Which isn't an excuse, it's just a fact. And that being said, so like my reading, I've never been consistent enough to where I feel like I can be like, oh, I consistently read my Bible. I like that's one thing that I mainly struggle with. But that being said, that's how you feed yourself. Like that's like spiritual food, right? And whenever you go to church, like in taking a message, right? That's spiritual food. But then I grew up serving in church. So I would go to church on Sundays, like be part of the service. Sometimes I would help lead worship. Sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I'd be on the tech team. Sometimes, different things here and there. And then I would have like rehearsal one day of the week. I'd have youth group one day of the week. I'd have another thing during the week. And then over the summers, I would volunteer at sports camp sometimes and like do other bunch of things, right?
Yeah.
And then to the point that it just became something I did. And then there was a point that when I was leading worship, I was just doing it because that's just what I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. That's what I signed up to do. So, And I think that's like the scariest place as a Christian is to be in a spot where, because I remember feeling so not, I guess distant would be the
Sure.
word, because it's so easy to just be like, well, I went to church, got spiritual food, but then I served here and I gave, and then I led this small group and I gave. Led this thing and then I gave, and then I'm giving more than I'm taking in.
Right.
So and then you kind of start, you're not. It's like you lifting a bunch of weights, but you're only eating one protein bar a day. Like
Yep.
you're just gonna wear out. Like you're just not gonna be able to perform the workout. And it's the same thing spiritually. Like you can give and volunteer and do whatever you want, as much as you want, but if you're not refilling your tank and intaking that spiritual food, that you just get burnt out. And then that's why pastors are forced to take sabbaticals, because like there have been pastors that like just continuously preach over and over and over every single Sunday for years, and then they burn out and then they like crash out. Like they're not pastors anymore. They fall out of faith because it becomes a job and things like that. And it's also like kind of like rest, you know what I mean? But spiritually,
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
quiet time. It's not just consistently giving and giving and giving. It's okay, this is me and God now. Like let's have our moment. So just a different perspective on like what not reading your Bible, but over spreading yourself, I guess, without making that a priority.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big struggle, and I think that's something that like people don't necessarily talk about as much. I think it's also because some people it takes longer because they didn't spread themselves out too thin. You know what I mean? Like, for example, the reason I burnt out so fast and at that time in my life was because I was constantly going and doing things and giving and giving and giving, and I wasn't doing that. But then other people, like, they will only go on just Sundays. So it's like, how long, you know what I mean? Like, that's completely different. If I'm lifting 10 pounds every day, at some point, it's going to be not enough, but it's going to take longer. Wait, maybe it was the other way around for me. But anyways, same gist, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's a great point, and I think even like this one pastor I watch, he's like, man, like, oh, because he's so energetic on the stage, and when he's like giving a sermon, and people like think he's like that in real life, and he's like, no, like he's like, I'm very chill, like I like to be at home. He's like, I have to spend a lot of time in my prayer room and stuff, and he's like, because like it takes a lot to be up there and do that. It takes a lot in any form of walking in this faith, and there's so much to take in, there's so much to digest, and I think nowadays, right, because we have social media, we're trying to you're like, I want to learn everything and I want to know everything there is to know within a year, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it's impossible, and that's probably impossible for a lot of things, but especially for the Christian religion. It's impossible. And I feel like we're just in a rush, and it's like, no, you need to slow down and take your time with God, and yes, be proactive, but let him show to you and reveal to you and guide you in that sense. You don't have to know it all your first few months in, and that's something that I struggled with a lot too.
Yeah. For you, like the videos you're watching, is it like Christianity versus Catholicism, or
Sometimes,
like Protestant versus Orthodox? Okay, just because I was like kind of curious as to what type of topics they go over.
Yeah, it's always different. There's a lot of different like lives. Like I love the Connectleys who just go out to college campuses and they just debate students, or like students bring questions and then they answer and then they like have a debate about it. I do watch some other influencers like George Janko, who has his podcast where he brings on people of the faith, and a big thing that spawned out of this is because he just did a Christians Avengers episode, and it was mainly all Christians that I would say lean more towards like Protestant, whereas like they don't follow Catholicism or Orthodox. They just follow Jesus and the Bible, and a lot of people Catholics were flooding the comment section because, he said something and they interpreted it as he was disrespecting it. And I think it was just like a miscommunication on his part. I don't think he's ever intentionally trying to bash another denomination. He doesn't seem like that type of guy at all. But people have been like freaking out about it. It's been like such a big thing. And so I think he's having actually a big Catholic apologetic on his podcast after this. But yeah, I mean, I just watch a bunch of different ones, and because I think I do find it fascinating, and I do really enjoy it. It's like, it's not that I'm watching it to look at different denominations. Like I'm very in the same state. I'm in the state of like, yeah, I like following Jesus, following the Bible, and that is the like ultimate authority. But these other denominations have different viewpoints on that, and different viewpoints on like what needs to be done to be saved, or to be to make it to heaven, right? And so it's always really cool just watching debates with people and just seeing their different point of views and seeing, oh, they follow this because of this, and this person follows this, and then this person's like, no, but Scripture says this, and then somebody's like, oh, the Scripture says this, but the church father said this. So it's like really, it's interesting, but it's very time consuming because obviously like those can go on for hours and hours and hours. So you watch like 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, and then even like again with my TikTok page, a lot of it is like Christian influencers nowadays because that's what I like. So that's what pops up a lot. And so it's like nowadays, if I go on TikTok, like I'm interested in it, I'm watching it, and again, it's like, it's good tech in a way, it's good content because it's like, I'm learning, I'm seeing different points about the faith, but at the same time, it's like, you just spend an hour on TikTok watching those videos when you could have spent an hour on the Word and actually like learned for yourself and read the Bible for yourself and took in God's word for yourself rather than hearing other people's point of views on it. So like that's just been the struggle, but I'm working on it. I think it's definitely like there's a shift. But I think it's just so much easier, bro. Cause like I'm already on my phone, like, just open the, it's hard. We just live in the, that word. Again, it's like going to read a book or scroll on TikTok. It's hard,
Yeah. I don't know. I have a weird relationship with those types of stuff because, like, I love Georgienko and I love the, what are they called? The
Connectleys?
Jesus Avengers?
Oh, well, they're a part of it. Yeah. So again, just to clarify, yeah, he called them the Christian Avengers, but
Avengers.
But like people were saying, were like that. I guess because a bunch of people that weren't familiar with Georgienko, I guess, had watched it. They're like, oh, like what qualifies these people to be the Avengers? Why are they call it? Who do they think they are? They're putting themselves on this pedestal.
That's just people that have no idea what they're talking about. It's okay. It's not like they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know who they are, so they clearly don't know what.
Well, just getting to the point of more so saying that George put that together as a very like friendly thing because those are the people in his life that have impacted him.
Yeah, it's not like legit Avengers with that you got to interview. It was just like all his friends. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it was just a bunch of big influencers. Yeah. Not the biggest. Well, some of them are, but it's like it's just his friends. Like it's just, anyways. Yeah. I feel like sometimes it just isn't that deep.
No, it's not exactly.
But I feel like I like watching that type of stuff, but sometimes with debates, I feel like because even maybe I should watch the episode before I talk, but there's a reason there's so many different branches of Christianity and it pretty much, I don't know, I can't speak for every religion, but at least like Christianity and Catholicism and stuff like that. But like, so sometimes I don't like listening to too many people on that type of stuff because I think it can get confusing a lot of the times. You know what I mean? Like some people will say, like, if everyone could agree, there would only be one version.
Yeah. So
I feel like sometimes for me personally, at least, like, because there's been episodes where George is like asking someone for their opinion on how they interpret God or whatever this passage says, and he's like, "Oh, really? Like I didn't see it that way." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't know if I see it that way either, and I don't know if that's what I believe necessarily, or like what I was taught." And so, granted, always pray for discernment whenever you're watching that type of stuff. But yeah, I think sometimes for me that can be distracting because then I'm just like more thinking about that as opposed to just like, what does God say? Like, why don't I just figure it out for myself?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like everybody, it's such a hard thing because people like go into different interpretations and stuff like that. And so that's why it's like, for me, it's like, yeah, taking into account like the time period and what was going on. Like, why was Paul going to this church to talk to these people, you know, and all these different aspects of it. So I don't know. Again, it's like I watch them because I find them fascinating and I'm just curious in general. But again, like the fact that that is taking up more time, I think was like a really big thing for me mentally. It was like, all right, you got to slow. I know you want to know. I know you want to understand. I know you like want to be able to talk to people about this. I get it. But like, I even had the realization, I'm like 99% of the time, especially if you're talking to people or your friends or your family or just people you're talking to in general, like a lot of them, if you're just trying to plant that seed, like you don't even need to know those things. You just need to know the good news, and hopefully that will spark the you know, that will be the seed planted, and then, you know, God will do his works there and they can go and do the research for themselves. You know what I mean? Because it's like, unless you specifically want to go into apologetics or you want to go into debating or whatever it is, you know, there's so much that goes into it. So again, needless to say, like I'm still gonna watch these things because they intrigue me, but I need to slow down on it, you know, and hopefully that relates to some people out there who are also experiencing that too, because again, social media is just taking over, and it even takes over in your faith way too, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like even for me, bro, I have a timer on all my social media, and I still pass it. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's just so bad. It's just so bad.
It is. It's hard,
but
it's very consuming.
But we on the come up. We're doing better. I'm doing better than I have, I think, ever. So
nice. That's good.
As long as we continue with that energy and that.
Yeah.
Anything else you got? Like about that?
No, I think that's all I had to get off my chest.
Yeah. So read your Bibles, kids. All right. And use adults too.
If you want a short and sweet and simple message, that's it.
If you wanted to watch this in a reel, long story short,
that's just the reel.
Did you have a question for today?
I don't. Do you?
I think no. I had a couple, but I feel like I've done them before. But because we've done 2 podcasts, I don't know if we did it on this one or the other one.
What?
One of the questions. So, because I was just trying to brainstorm today and I really couldn't. Okay, if you could have one superpower, but you can only use it in like a super not cool, boring way, what would it be?
Okay, what does that mean?
So, like, for example, like I'm like super fast, but like I'm only fast at typing. So it's like I could write 1,000 words a minute, but like that's it. You know what I mean? Like it's a superpower, but like it ain't that. Like I can't use it for anything cool. You know what I mean? Like it's not like flying and I can fly around the world.
No, it's a really interesting thing.
Or like you have like you're like Elastigirl, like that's like your stretching is your power, but like only to unclog the sink. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Okay, so do I have to come up with the reasoning behind it?
It's your what superpower would you have for something like super dull and boring? That's kind of hard, right?
I think the superpower that I always like when people would, what superpower would you want? I think I would always say like invisibility, because I think that'd be really cool, to be able to just like, you know, disappear whenever you want to. That or teleportation. I think those were always like my 2, but teleportation was more for like selfish reasons, like I want to be at this place at this time. So for the sake of this argument, I'll go teleportation, but I can only teleport to work. So like, again, depending on where you work, great advantage. But like, again, you should be able to teleport to Europe, to Asia, to wherever you want to be at a moment's notice, but you can only go to work. So like I feel like it's still cool. You could still teleport. You could still, like I said, save the traffic time for work. I mean, that'd be awesome, especially in LA. But again, when you really think about it, it's like, man, like teleportation could be used for so many other cool things.
That's a good one.
I know.
All right.
Said, all right, episode
Let's
two.
see.
We'll take it from this perspective. What if somebody were just to ask the base question? What's the superpower that you would want, like out of all of them?
The two I would do is either shape shifting or teleporting.
Okay, so I
So
did teleporting.
since you did teleporting, I'll do shape shifting. I would pick shape shifting, but I could only shape shift. I could only shape shift my weight.
Wait, so what does that mean exactly? I thought shape-shifting was like you could... Does that mean like you can change into people, or what does that mean?
Depends. I would say you could change into any person or anything if I had like almighty shape shifting powers.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I can only make myself like skinny or fat.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's still me.
Yeah.
It's still me. I just fluctuate my weight fast.
Yeah, and again, that's like, I guess depending upon the situation, it could be good or bad. Like, what if like you're in a fight and then like, you need to, I don't know, be heavier than the other dude.
Sumo.
Yeah, exactly. But then you're like, man, like I'm trying to enter this bodybuilding contest. Can you get shredded? Can you like change your muscle density?
No, see, that would be too cool.
I feel like that'd be cool, but again, when you think about that versus changing into anybody you want,
Fair.
I feel like you limit to yourself a bit. I mean, I guess I did too, but like, again, depending on where you work, that could be that could save you 2-3 hours of traffic time, I don't know.
I could make a mukbang and never gain weight.
That is true. You could just, see, I guess the skinny thing, because like you could just eat a bunch, right? And then be like, oh, back to skinny.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess your body is
Hot dog
taking
eating
in those-
contest?
Well, I wonder if that would I don't think it would affect your like ability to eat.
True.
Dude,
see, so it's not even that cool.
Yeah,
We're getting too deep. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting way too deep. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I guess that's my answer.
Yeah, let us know what yours is. I feel like that was it's an interesting question.
What superpower would you have, but you could only use it for one boring thing?
Let us know in the comments below.
And is shape-shifting my weight boring enough? Let me know that too.
Yeah, is my teleporting to work boring enough?
I feel like that is.
I think they
I
both
feel like
have
the
advantages.
only one that I think would be funnier than you can only teleport to work was I thought you were going to say I can only teleport to the bathroom.
Yeah, but I feel like that's way too short. Like that's not even.
Yeah, it is.
Not even like.
But that'd be perfect for you because you pee all the time.
That is true. For movies, that'd be amazing. Like just in and out. But
no, you can't go. You got to walk back. You can only teleport to the bathroom.
Okay, that's okay. Then you can only get skinny. That's it.
Okay.
He's like, all right, I'll do that right now. No, but I was gonna say because when I was saying about how it can change your ability to consume a lot. There's this dude's videos that I've been coming across on my For You page, and it's like basically like I'm single, so I'm taking myself out to a date or whatever, and he'll go to like a restaurant or wherever. But bro, it's just the videos are so fascinating because of how much. And he's not a big dude. He can eat so much, bro. He'll go and he'll order like 3 appetizers, which like, bro, I don't even get an appetizer when I go to a restaurant, even if I'm with my girl, because like we'll have the appetizer or we'll be full. Like, so he'll order like 3 appetizers, a meal, and dessert. I've seen like a few of his videos, and I think there was one of them where he took like a little bit of stuff to go. He usually never does. But I'm like, dude, how? How was that like? I mean, I guess like my roommate, for example, he can eat a lot, so like he might be able to. Somebody it's like able to do that.
Tyler, you can eat a lot.
Yeah, but okay.
He's like, but I'm big.
But one, I used to be able to eat a lot more because like when I would bulk, I could eat a lot more. Like nowadays, bro, if I can go to Chick-fil-A, just for an example, I'll get the sandwich meal, the fry, so sandwich, fries, maybe 2 nuggets on the side, and like I'm good, bro. You know what I mean? If I wanted
like 2 nuggets or 2 4 pieces?
Or 2, I meant 2 strips. My bad. But again, even in relatively speaking, like again, if I'm going out to a restaurant, like if I go to Olive Garden, let's take that for example, because you get free appetizers in a way with the salad and the bread. Like, yes, I could sit there and eat 4 breadsticks, a salad, and then force down some pasta. But I'd be so sick. So now I like eat 1 breadstick, a little bit of salad, and even nowadays I can't finish the pasta, bro. Like it's too much. I take some to go because I'm like, could I finish it? Sure, but like I would be so sick.
Sure,
sure.
Could I finish it? Sure.
So
okay.
and again, that's not even taking into account like again what I said. Like I'll have to send you his videos because he eats so much, bro. And it's just
please do.
Fascinating.
Because after the TikTok ban where everyone was admitting everything they lie about, I don't believe anything anymore.
That is crazy. That was crazy, bro. People got like, because my thing is like, were you not gonna go to Instagram and do reels?
Yeah, did you just expect your whole career to just be like, oh, well, we're done? Like,
that made no sense to me, bro.
The crazy ones, like, the ones I kept hearing about were obviously like, especially like the fitness girls that were like, oh, I actually had like a BBL or I was actually on Ozempic the whole time. But like I lied to you saying everything was natural.
Right.
That was big. But there was one girl specifically that I remember everyone getting upset about. And it's because she would make like these really nice coffee videos every day. And it turns out she doesn't even drink them. She doesn't even like coffee.
See,
but that was her whole account.
But hey, man, like, in a way, it's like play the system because people like those kind of videos, right? Like me and you, we're sitting here doing a podcast because we love it. We get to talk about the things we want to talk about. But me or you could just as easily, every time we go to Chick-fil-A or wherever, sit in our car and do an ASMR or a mukbang or a food review and probably be getting way more views than we do. But we're like, and again, that's content. So people, and I consume some of that content. I like watching people eat too. So like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying anything about that, but I'm like, we just choose to stay in this lane, one, because we enjoy it. We get to do it together and we get to talk about things that we can hopefully impact people with. But again, there are so many things on TikTok where like the simplicity is really where it's at. Making a coffee, eating food, a day in the life. I just had this experience. Like, there's so many simple things.
Get ready with me.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like that girl, she's just playing the system, man. She's like, hey, people like watching coffee videos. So the amount of money it takes me to make these coffees. Like even some people, again, going back to that guy's video, they're like, oh my gosh, he's got to be spending like $80 at dinner or whatever. His video just got like 1 million views, bro. Like he probably made, I don't even know how much he made off that. I don't know what TikTok pays nowadays because we don't get paid yet. But I'm sure it's covering the meal plus some. You know what I mean? So like some people, it's like, it's like, yeah, maybe I wasn't doing this in my normal life, but like I can do it now because by doing this, I'm making more money. You know what I mean? By spending this $80, I'm making more than I would have by just spending $15 and getting one thing. Because half the comments are like, bro, how are you eating so much? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like it gets more engagement, you know? So social media is a crazy place. I think that's nice. It kind of tied back into social media, which is what the main topic was about.
The devil himself.
Hey, man, ain't that the truth? In certain ways.
Well,
because again, man, even, real point, I know we're closing up here, but again, like, hey, the little thumb, even it's like, man, maybe the devil wants you consuming even if it's content about your religion, he wants you in that space so that you're being taken away from your word and your prayer time. Like if you really think about it, it's a weird thing. It's a hard concept to grasp. But
I hope I don't misquote this because that's just gonna make me look like a bad churchgoer. But I'm pretty sure what they say at my church all the time is If the devil can't get you to sin, he's gonna distract you.
And that's a big part in today's society is distraction everywhere.
Oh yeah,
Everywhere.
And on that note, make sure to keep getting distracted by following us on all our platforms and all our social medias. Because at least if you're gonna get distracted, it's not complete garbage.
Yeah, we're gonna bring you some truth and some fun. You know.
Yeah, a little bit of spice, a little bit of zest. You know.
But not too much zest.
Salt Bay. Anyways, thanks again. Make sure to let us know what power and for what. Make sure to let us know if you've ever struggled with anything or if you have any distractions right now. And let us know if there's any topics you want us to cover anytime soon, because we do read everything and we do listen. Except I know we owe someone a wedgie. We're getting there. We're working on it, okay? I'm sorry we haven't delivered, but I promise. You got to convince Tyler, not me. I am down.
That is true. You do have to convince me.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Send him like $5. I got him new microphones, and it still wasn't enough, so I don't know.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to episode 2 of season 3. Once again, my name's Tyler.
My name's Gabriel.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.
Catching Up Podcast. If you're not caught up, you're catching up.
I don't necessarily know what that means.